Welcome back to Checkpoint. Let's continue bringing you up to speed with the day's top developments. Now, thousands of mourners from every corner of the country descended upon the grounds of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology in Bondo, Siaya County for final farewell to former Prime Minister, the late Raila Odinga. What was witnessed was a powerful tapestry of culture, faith, and fierce political devotion, a ceremony where tradition danced with history and chants of remembrance echoed across the solemn skies. From sacred rituals to soul-stirring sermons, Raila's send-off was anything but ordinary. And as Winfrey Owino now reports, the man who shaped generations was finally laid to rest, not alone, but with the symbols that defined him, his iconic fedora hat and the cherished fly whisk that were lowered with him into eternity.
Shortly after 9 a.m. on Sunday, October 19th of 2025, the remains of the country's second Prime Minister and its longest-serving opposition leader, Raila Odinga, made a solemn journey into Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology in Bondo, where the funeral service was held. His casket, draped in the national colors, was escorted from his Opoda farm under the watchful eye of the Kenya Defence Forces following a night-long vigil on Saturday. The procession was greeted by thousands of mourners lining on the roads, waving flags, clutching portraits of Raila and holding twigs, a traditional Luo symbol of mourning. As the motorcade arrived, a wave of emotion swept through the crowd. Chants of remembrance rose like a chorus. The Odinga family, led by his widow Ida Odinga and their 3 surviving children, arrived shortly after the cortege. With measured grace, they approached the casket and paid their respects, eyes glistening as they prepared to release their patriarch to history.
And also history.
A sea of dignitaries filled the grounds, from current government officials to past rivals, friends and foes alike, came together under the somber canopy of loss.
We as Kenyans may be governed in the way of peace.
The Anglican Church, led by Bishop David Cordia of the Diocese of Bondo, presided over the service with a sermon that spoke to resilience, legacy and eternal rest. Even as the formalities of state unfurled, Luo customs, rich, ancestral and unshaken, wove their way into the ceremony. Elders chanted sacred dirges, calling upon spirits, appeasing them, and guiding Raila's soul through the veil between this life and the next. When the final eulogies were spoken and the crowd's tears began to still, the military resumed command of the day's program. The motorcade made its final journey, a short yet heavy 2 kilometers journey to Kango Jaramogi Mausoleum, where he was laid to rest beside his father, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, the man who began the family's legacy of defiance and dreams. As the last scripture echoed through the air, and a single trumpet cried its farewell, his body was gently lowered into the earth. Then, in a moment steeped in symbolism, his signature fedora hat and a fly whisk, the icons of his public life, were placed atop his casket, descending with him into eternity. And then, a final tribute. The skies reverberated with a 17-gun salute, a thunderous honor for a man who dared to dream loudly in the face of silence. Winfrey Owino, KTN.
Now, hundreds of residents in Eldoret gathered in solemn unity to follow the live proceedings